The first thing, hang on.
The next train to arrive on platform 5 goes to Newcastle Interchange. First stop, Barara, then Cowan, Hawkesbury River, Wondabyne, Woy Woy, Coolewong, Tascott, Point Clare, Gosford, then all stations to Wyong, then all stations to Broadmeadow, then Hamilton and Newcastle Interchange.
Sorry viewers, I didn't time that very well, did I? The first thing you got to realise is that you're not as important as you think. Once you realise that, then you can build on that. You're not as important as you think. That keeps you humble, that keeps you in order, that keeps you self-conscious and self-aware. If it doesn't, then not only are you not as important as you think to others, then you're probably not as important as you think to yourself. And everything comes back to self, what you think about yourself, where you are up to with yourself. And if you get that wrong, then all the other dominoes are going to fall one by one after that. So you're not quite as important as you think. Now this train's supposed to arrive at 14:23. We'll see. I don't know if that showed up on the screen, did it? No, you can't see the digits on the clock. In a relationship, it's transactional. And the transactions are going to be based on good inputs and bad inputs. And if the bad inputs outweigh the good, by way of commission or omission, commission being things that you've done, omission being things that you haven't done,
Alright, husband, I got a text.
then that will catch up with you eventually. Something's going to give. A lot of people won't stay in a relationship, or shouldn't, if things aren't going the way that they should. And what happens is people get into relationships, they become settled, or they've just become out and out negligent. There are a lot of negligent people out there. And as they fall negligent, there's two things that can happen to you. One is, don't be the one that's negligent. The other one is, be aware of negligence. Negligence can come in many forms, and it comes down to your standards. But your standards may not suit over time the person that you're with, and their standards may not suit you, so that makes the relationship flexible and variable, doesn't it? A variable, flexible relationship. But then it boils down to what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept. And that can really make things change. Those changes may suit you or they may not. It all comes down to what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. And you might not tolerate some of these progressive changes that happen in the relationship. Could be drink that's turned into drunkenness. Could be medication that's turned into dependency. Could be nicotine use that's become excess and too expensive. Could be gambling. It could be abuse of money, misuse of money. Could be micro incremental emotional affairs with other people where you're going into a situation, emotional connection with somebody in a way in which you shouldn't, and your partner becomes aware of that, and it's going to cause trouble, and it's going to undermine your faithfulness towards that person, so you won't feel as close to that person as you should, because you're trying to distribute yourself amongst people that don't belong. And this is what lust does. It deceives and it misleads and it makes you dig a pit that you fall into. So micro incremental negative regressive changes do happen to people, but they can be navigated.
The next train to arrive
And whether
on
or not
platform 5
the way in
goes
which that's
to
navigated
Newcastle Interchange.
works for you or not,
First stop,
it's going to come
Barara,
down to your
then
tolerance.
Cowan, Hawkesbury River,
It's going to come down
Watervine,
to your patience, your
Woy Woy,
understanding.
Coolewong, Tascott, Point Clare, Gosford, then all stations to Wyong, then all stations to Broadmeadow,
And
then
the value that you
Hamilton
have for
and
yourself
Newcastle
up against the
Interchange.
abuse that you might be receiving from the person that you're with. It comes down to what you're going to tolerate, what you're not going to tolerate, what you can work with, what you can't work with, what they can work with. What some people will work with anything because they want you to be that way yourself.
But they actually don't have to be one.
They want you to be that way yourself, so they get you to work with anything. They'll let you do anything because they want to do anything. They say you got all the freedom you want because they want all the freedom you want. But there has to be order and boundaries and commitment and steadfastness. And if you can find that these days, you're doing very, very well, because it's the minority now. It's 50% you will, 50% you won't. And within that 50%, there's another 50% of that 50% that will fail. So I'm going to get on this
The
train now.
on platform 5 goes to Newcastle
And
Interchange. First stop, Barara, then
It must be
Cowan,
coming now. So I hope
Hawkesbury
that
River,
helps, viewers. It
Watervine,
comes down to your
Woy Woy,
tolerance,
Coolewong,
what you're going to
Tascott,
tolerate, what you're
Point
not.
Clare, Gosford,
And
then all stations to
the rest
Wyong,
is
then
completely
all
up to what you're going to
stations
do.
to Broadmeadow,
Stay or go,
then
go or
Hamilton
stay.
and Newcastle Interchange.
But one thing's for sure, if you're not happy, you need to go. Here's the train now. Bye.